Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about BTS and some of the recent news that's caused some controversy. And I can already see so many dislikes and people in my comments over my opinions that I'm about to share, but all I can ask is that you give me a fair chance in explaining my viewpoints. And also, just remember that I am not Korean, so you can unclench now, because nothing I say on these points will matter. It's up to the Korean government and BTS, and I'm just going to give my 2 cents on the situation, and I honestly needed to get this video out of my system because I've thought about this for like a really long time. Okay, so basically, if you've seen some news around about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, there was a discussion brought up if BTS should be exempt from their military service. The reason this was brought up came from a statement from a Korean politician who says they should be given exemption because of their international achievements, averting the Billboard 200 #1 spot, and bringing $1 billion to Korean tourism and to the economy in Korea. Their amazing efforts should be rewarded with exemption from the military and yada yada yada. Obviously, this brought up a lot of debate online from K-pop fans on both sides of the argument. So basically, I'll go over each side and tell you what I think, basically the pros and the cons. So the first pro of all this is that BTS will continue to funnel money into South Korea. It's estimated that BTS has brought in almost $1 billion to South Korean tourism from their breakthrough in the USA, and that's roughly the amount Psy also brought to South Korea after Gangnam Style skyrocketed in like 2012-ish. But BTS is one of the biggest foreign international acts right now, and they're only getting bigger. They promote in Korea a very positive way with their image, and I think that they could be more useful to them to keep promoting instead of just enlisting and training to go to war for 2 years. Instead, have them out and promoting even more. Another pro is that they can start to signify change in South Korean enlistment rules. The article was a little unfair, in my opinion, because the politician didn't just mention BTS, but also other areas of entertainment excellence, like how violinists who win prestigious competitions are exempt, but not worldly acclaimed pop stars. Or how award-winning ballet dancers could be excused, but not hip-hop or b-boying dancers and that sort of thing. If BTS were to be exempt, this could change, and new discussions of exemption reform could be introduced in the future for not only idol groups, but also South Korean entertainers of any kind, so that could also be a really good thing. But of course, with all this good, there's also still some inconsistencies with the whole BTS exemption argument, mostly with how it would be unfair to other idols right now. But is this actually 100% true? The first point on the unfairness is that no one should be exempt because they are famous. BTS are very popular, and while they are able to use their platform to promote South Korea to the world, should their fame be enough to give them this special treatment? Because just because they're popular does not mean they should get a handout from the South Korean government. And these are not my words exactly, but I'm just summarizing the argument that people have been using. So, if we take away the popularity aspect, should BTS be exempt because they make millions for South Korea? Not many people think so. Like I mentioned before, Psy made the same figures before as BTS, and he did not get any special treatment, and he is often described as the reason to why the Western world looked at K-pop as a joke back in 2012. Honestly, I don't think Psy or anyone expected Gangnam Style to be as big as it was, and that video was so many people's first introduction to K-pop. I feel like it's really unfair to blame him as making K-pop look like this joke or like this comedic aspect of music. So I don't understand why he's so disrespected when he was such a big part in introducing it to an international level. Another case people make is bringing up actor Bae Young-joon, who starred in the K-drama Winter Sonata, which was very popular in South Korea, and brought $2.3 billion in tourism and merchandise to South Korea in 2002. Twice of what BTS has made. But he was not given exempt from military service for this reason, even though the drama was a success all over Asia and brought in hundreds of millions of dollars to South Korea. Next, probably the most popular unfair argument that people bring up is that BTS's K-pop seniors don't get to be exempt, even though they are just as talented and work just as hard as them and have longevity in their careers. Specifically, many people have brought up the enlistment of Big Bang. The kings of K-pop were not even exempt from their military service, even though they are one of the most successful and recognized groups in K-pop history. I do see both sides of this argument, but I don't think it's very black and white. There are a lot of similarities between BTS and Big Bang. Similar to how Big Bang made and established YG, BTS did the same thing with Big Hit Entertainment. Both groups also have some of the best visual concepts and also have many hidden deeper meanings within their music. Both collaborate with Western artists through their career and have amazing stage presence. They're the top boy groups of the second and third generation respectively, and I'm just saying that, before the third generation's over, but But I think their fame is where they differ. The members of Big Bang are more recognizable and famous in Asia as a general whole, and BTS are more famous in the West internationally. And since exemption is reserved to global competitions and acclaim, that's why BTS fits the exemption narrative more. This does not mean BTS has reached a higher or bigger level of success or fame than Big Bang. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, literally not at all. One thing I will say that irks me is when people say that BTS paved the way, which Big Bang didn't do, so they don't deserve to be exempt. This makes absolutely no sense to me. How did BTS pave the way for Big Bang exactly, a senior group, when that's chronologically impossible? First of all, what does pave the way even exactly mean? Like, pave the way is such a buzz phrase now that's used just to start fandom wars and arguments. Like, I feel like I tried searching it online and everyone has such different meanings of it. I'm like convinced no one even knows what it means. So I'm going to try to clear it up for everyone and try to explain what that actually means. To me, pave the way means someone does something monumental or memorable in something in a certain area, which in turn creates an easier path for future people to do what they did. So again, what does this mean for BTS, and did they quote-unquote pave the way? Well, I think yes and no. BTS paved the way for groups in the West for the future generation. They broke into the Western music industry in a way that no other group has, which can give the next generation guidance on how to do the same. But did they pave the way for all K-pop groups? No. Whenever a third-gen artist has an interview in the US, armies are always quick to say, thank BTS for opening these doors. And it especially gets annoying for the already popular third-generation groups like Blackpink, GOT7, Red Velvet, etc. These groups already had international fans and recognition before BTS broke out the way they did in the USA. And actually, recently, there was a tweet from MTV recommending a few K-pop groups to listen to, and people accuse them of writing off BTS's fame for clout, basically. First of all, groups like Blackpink, Twice, and iKON have had successful careers and don't need BTS to push their popularity. People recommend artists all the time from similar genres, and it really isn't a big deal. I even saw someone get mad because they said these groups should pave their own way and not ride off of BTS's name. And if that's the case, then BTS isn't really opening doors or paving a way if no other group is allowed to be promoted or be relevant in the West besides them. Not to mention, K-pop artists were doing Western interviews and shows in the West way before BTS. Maybe not at the same level of popularity, but BTS were not the first people to go into the West and break out. So while they have opened up way more doors for future artists, you can't discredit other groups' fame and direct it to BTS. You can't discredit an impactful senior group like Big Bang, who came before BTS and broken plenty of records themselves, but still want other third-generation artists to bow down to BTS when they go west. Both Big Bang and BTS have paved the way. Big Bang was the K-pop group who popularized and westernized K-pop music with heavy influence to R&B and hip-hop. They basically introduced this sound to K-pop today and made it very popular, which is where their longevity comes in. Their blend of these music genres has made their music timeless and ageless. So while Big Bang has paved the way for the future third generation, they didn't have the same effect internationally like BTS does, but they still do have plenty of fans in the West and plenty of international presence. This is also another opinion of mine, but Big Bang are also K-pop legends and are the kings. They changed the K-pop industry forever and created a wave of Western music and future groups, and have also inspired countless idols, including BTS, which they've said. So basically, without Big Bang, there wouldn't be any groups like BTS like that we have today. So you can't discredit them on any level. If the K-pop trend can stick in the West and not die out in a couple years, I do think BTS could well be on their way of becoming pillars of K-pop, like in the same way that these second generation groups have. But the only thing that they are lacking, in my opinion, is longevity. Groups like Big Bang, TVXQ, SHINee, they were acclaimed all years of their career, so to speak, having success and staying relevant while doing so. Earning acclaimed awards and selling out world tours and breaking records is what put them on top. So BTS could be on their way to doing that as well, and they're only 5 years in, but I think they'll go on for a long time if they can maintain that. But let me also say that BTS and Big Bang are amazing and are renowned in their own right. It's pretty stupid pitting them against each other, especially when BTS are VIPs themselves and Sungri even praised BTS before. Comparing the two is like comparing NSYNC to One Direction. Both are amazing artists, but they both emerge in completely different social climates and times. It sort of does not really make sense to compare the two. So the way I see it is that Seo Tajin boys created K-pop and are the OG legends of the genre. Big Bang came along and westernized the sound, which overtook the industry, inspiring many idols and groups. And now BTS is sort of carrying the torch of that impact. They are sharing and surpassing the boundaries of just Asia and bringing K-pop to this global level. And really, they're a talented group, and you can sort of see them evolve with each comeback. So this pave the way shit is so fucking stupid. So can people stop being dumb? I mean, really, let's just all get over it. Even though I deviated a bit, let's get back to BTS's exemption. Another con would be that K-Nets would be pretty mad about it. I know most of BTS's fans are international now, but I feel like the Korean fans would be mad. There have been mixed feelings from Korean citizens from like those videos on YouTube that I've seen, but K-Nets don't even like when celebrities get special treatment during their enlistment, so I doubt an exemption for idols would go over well with them. A lot of people have compared the situation of the exemption to like a student who wins a scholarship. Like, just because he earned it doesn't mean it's unfair for everyone else because he did work hard. But I've also seen it the other way. Like, if a police officer or a lawyer breaks the law, should they still go to jail because they enforce the law for a living? Or, like, should BTS be excused for serving their country just because they're famous and are able to promote it? It's such a unique and interesting situation. I can't really even draw a similarity to another situation for it. All this being said, even though I just gave like a million reasons and cons as to why the exemption would be a bad idea, I think they're going to be exempt. Like, I think there's a 70% chance of BTS's exemption, and it might even go higher if their next comeback is successful, which it 100% probably will be. The money and recognition is just way too good, and it'd be kind of stupid to stop them in the peak of their careers. But the question isn't if they'll be exempt, it's a question of whether or not they will take it, which I really don't know. Either way, people will be upset if either happens, so we'll just see. I think the best way to make everyone the least mad is to maybe allow them to delay enlistment instead of put it off entirely so that people won't accuse them of special treatment. Or maybe like endorse the Korean government in like another way with their music, but I really don't know. Whatever Korea decides, they better make up their mind fast, because now the South Korean government changed the enlistment age for males from 30 to 28, so now the BTS eldest, Jin, will have to enlist by 2020 at the latest, so time will only tell what happens, but maybe we'll probably get information more of that, like, definitely by next year. So now, of course, tell me what you think in the comments. I imagine there's going to be very strong opinions on what I said, but I'm not opposed to good discussions and debates. If you've made it this far, maybe you have the wherewithal not to spam my comments with pointless and irrelevant points to waste my time. But I will see you guys next week in my next video. Alright, see you guys later.